In the UK, I moved to a newly built property in East Sussex in 1998, and before long had to change my internet service provider when Tiscali told me that what I had written about Sussex Police had to be removed from my website. For 24 years, I have been unable to read my property's water meter. Recently, with water companies in the news, I thought it time to find my meter and check the figures which appear on my account page on the South East Water website. To start with, where was my water meter? My account page on the water company's website includes meter information. I've edited out the meter's number. Meter location, top of 2 verge left hand of shared drive. I do have a drive. The word drive is a common noun starting with a lowercase letter, but my drive is not shared and does not have a meter on it, in it, or by it. Is someone with a limited grasp of written English trying to tell me that my water meter is in the road in which other people also live? Drive as part of a proper noun with a capital letter. The location phrase is nonsensical and inappropriate. In 1998, I identified the water meter nearest my property, beneath a grassed public footpath more than 13 metres beyond the front wall of my property. There's that meter's lid on the right. When I lifted the lid recently, I saw only webs festooned with rubbish, which I cleared away with a stick. A small torch revealed an unrecognisable object, 62.4 centimetres below the hinged lid. After I had complained to South East Water about the problem, I used flash photography to take this image. The end of the identification number is unclear, and the cubic meters numbers below them are completely unreadable. I used the My Account part of the company's website to find how complaints could be made, and as a formal letter was not an option, used the phone number that the company supplied for making complaints. I made 2 complaints to the company spokesperson who answered the telephone. First, I complained that the location given for me to locate my water meter was nonsensical. The spokesperson for the company disagreed with me. Secondly, I complained that I had never been able to read my water meter and wanted to do so. The company spokesperson told me that I should rely on the company to check how much water I was using. She also asked if I would like bottled water delivered to my address if tap water was not available, and not knowing at that time what a dodgy company I was dealing with, I agreed. That telephone call caused me to receive 4 emails. The first 2 were quickly deleted as spam. I think they were linked to boxes to tick to tell the company how good they were. The third email and a letter added to my account were startling. They told me that I had joined priority services, which meant that they could share my details with other companies. Such messages are designed to cope with what the company calls the legal stuff in dealing with customers who are decrepit, unhealthy, disabled, mentally deranged, financially worried, or handicapped with poor English. The company can patronise them, share their details with others, and send them spam. Which class I was shoved into, if any, was not specified. I replied to the email, but the company refused to accept any reply, so it was put in my drafts folder. I emailed customer service and told them that I did not ask to join the priority services register and wished to be removed from the register immediately. A 4th email between areas of spam from customer services had a brief but astounding message from a customer services advisor. "I can see you have since called and spoke with Heather, who has resolved your query." According to that, I had not complained to Heather. I had spoken with her and asked a question. Heather had made my 2 complaints disappear by disagreeing with them. I replied to the email, but my rejection of the deceitful and ungrammatical message was not accepted for delivery by South East Water, and that dodge by 2 employees working in partnership was mainly responsible for Dodgy in the title of this video. I was to be surprised later, however, to be told that I have no right to read the meter. If that is really the case, the company would be less dodgy than I thought. My last paragraph in that unaccepted email had said, "I wish to know whether South East Water have no responsibility whatever for the fact that I have been unable to check my water usage since September 1998. That ended my attempt to complain to South East Water. I then visited the website of CCW, the Consumer Council for Water, and read, "Have you written a formal complaint to your water company?" That would have been my preferred method of complaining. But when I accessed my account on South East Water's website and searched for how to make complaints, a written formal complaint was not an option. Why had CCW not insisted that South East Water include that choice in the options they give their customers? CCW say, "If you have followed your company's complaints procedure but remain dissatisfied, you can ask us to look at your complaint." So I clicked the Contact Us hyperlink and filled in an online form. After answering CCW's questions, I was asked to provide as much information as possible. It was not easy to do much less than that in a small box, because when the box is full, your text disappears beyond the top. I explained the dodge created by South East Water's employees and tried to attach a small file of a photograph of my water meter, but was told, "Remove." There seemed to be no way of saving a copy of the form. I submitted the form, but received no acknowledgement of that. Some days later, soon after 3 p.m, on a Tuesday afternoon, I telephoned CCW to find out what was happening. After the phone had rung for a little longer than usual, an unidentified voice said that there was no one there to answer the phone. While writing this, I tried to check CCW's requirement for a formal written complaint to the water company first. It had apparently disappeared. Instead, I found, "How do I complain about my water company?" In the first instance, to resolve your concerns directly, contact your water company. If you cannot get your matter sorted over the phone, we recommend that you write or email your company. Those words are said to have been published 2010 and updated 2020. It looks as if an old explanation has been substituted for the one that I had read before filling in the form. Is this another dodgy company? What a waste of time CCW had been. After that, I received a message from Elizabeth Swain, Wholesale Service Desk Metering Manager of South East Water. "I'm sorry to read that your query has not been dealt with as requested. Water companies do not have a responsibility to provide access to customers to read their meters. The meter is our asset and allows us to bill you fairly for the water you use. We do tell our customers that they are welcome to read their own meters if it is safe to do so. An asset is something of value that belongs to a person or group of persons. For water, customers have to pay a standing charge for the system to be kept in working order for whenever customers want to use it. South East Water does not say, "You can't use the pipes, they belong to us." The meter is part of that system. Who actually owns the meter does not imply that customers do not have the right to read it, if that is practicable. They are paying for the upkeep of the system they are using. Presumably, if meters belong exclusively to South East Water, customers who have what Swain calls their own meters must have had them installed in their property themselves. And if that is the case, why do they need South East Water's permission to read them? And why could that be dangerous? Swain then says, "I have attached a picture of your latest reading, taken on 5th September. Here is the South East Water photograph. This is a photograph I took before the 5th of September. I took this after receiving the manager's message. Someone had wiped dirt from above the cubic meter reading, but left the dirt obscuring the end of the serial number of the meter, which presumably the manager did not notice. I cannot be sure that the meter serves my property. It is too dirty." I then looked online for legislation concerning whether a water company is compelled by law to allow me to read my water meter, but found only the Water Meters Regulations 1988, Part 2. That says meters shall be so installed as to ensure that they are reasonably accessible for reading, inspection, testing, and maintenance. I found nothing about the right of householders to read their own meters. So I moved on to Ofwat, the Water Services Regulation Authority, a government department which is responsible for economic regulation of the water and sewerage industry in England and Wales, which were privatised in 1989. They don't normally deal with householders' complaints, but they do publish on their website a useful article for householders named "Water Meters, Your Questions Answered." That article did not answer my question. The following statements from that article seem to assume that household customers have a right to read their water meters, and that the company responsible for them has to maintain them properly. If you disagree with your estimated bill and want one based on your own meter reading, the company will send you a further bill based on that reading. It is a good idea to read your meter regularly and give the company a reading so your bills are more accurate. It will also help you to track how much water you are using and make it easier to spot leaks. Moving house. You should provide your company with a meter reading as soon as you move in or out, so that your bill is accurate. It is illegal to tamper with your meter. The company is responsible for maintaining the meter. You need to tell your company if the meter is moving when you are not using any water. I emailed Ofwat suggesting that their article would benefit from adding my question to it. Is there any evidence to discredit the statement by South East Water's metering manager that water companies do not have a responsibility to provide access for customers to read their meters? Receipt of my email has not been acknowledged or answered by Ofwat, but I will wait a while before investigating further myself if Ofwat don't enlighten the public about how these private public services are managed.